Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fallout number 1 from 1997. I'm Fruit Spread. I'm going to be doing this one solo, and I'm going to try not to talk too much over the intro here. But yeah, we're playing some old school 90s RPG action. Newly annexed Canada. That's relevant. I'll get into the plot stuff when we get to the plot. Bang. Sorry, dude. Oh, geez, took two. Hi, Mom. That's my boy there, shooting that poor commie man dead in the street. I will want. Oh, quick little nod. Radiation King. That is referenced in Simpsons. That is the name of Homer's old television when he has flashbacks to his growing up on the farm in the Simpson and Son episode where they're selling the love tonic. Wishing that I were near. So, I'll walk my dog and everything. Nice. Maybe. Also, where is that broadcast signal coming from? That's what I think about that. Anyway, so that is the intro to kind of get you ingratiated. I think Ron Perlman's about to throw down some knowledge.
War never changes.
There we go.
The Romans waged war to gather slaves and wealth. Spain built an empire from its lust for gold and territory. Hitler shaped a battered Germany into an economic superpower. But war never changes. In the 21st century, war was still waged over the resources that could be acquired. Only this time, the spoils of war were also its weapons. Petroleum and uranium. For these resources, China would invade Alaska, the US would annex Canada, and the European Commonwealth would dissolve into quarreling, bickering nation-states bent on controlling the last remaining resources on Earth. In 2077, the storm of World War had come again. In 2 brief hours, most of the planet was reduced to cinders. And from the ashes of nuclear devastation, a new civilization would struggle to arise. A few were able to reach the relative safety of the large underground vaults. Your family was part of that group that entered Vault 13.
Lucky number 13.
Imprisoned safely behind the large vault door, under a mountain of stone, a generation has lived without knowledge of the outside world. Life in the vault is about to change.
And where are you? Where are you, eyebrows? I know you're coming. Oh, no, wait. I have to make my character first. Alright, so I've got a ton to say about Fallout. I've been playing this game since the 90s. Not when it first came out, but I can get into that much later. It's one of my favorites. I was first introduced to the series with, I think it was 2001, with Fallout Tactics, which is not really considered canon, but it's kind of alluded to in Fallout 3 and 4. But in any event, I'll get into all that stuff when we get into the actual game. So let's create character. You have a selection of pre-made characters you can use. This guy here is widely considered to be the canon character of Fallout 1. But we're going to create our own. First and foremost, let's get our name in here. It's me. Fruit Spread, first and last name. Aw, man. Never mind. Not enough space. Alright, there we go. Fruit Spread. All one word, just like share. Age doesn't really affect anything. Gender does, more so in Fallout 2, but in Fallout 1 it's not terribly relevant. There's a few interactions you can do differently between which gender you select. This is the special system. Those of you who played the more recent Fallouts, or if you've played this one, know exactly what all this is about. Strength, perception, they determine your other stats and your skills over here. But for me, for playing at least through the first Fallout, is I tend to favor talkers and shooters. They tend to talking will actually get you through a huge portion of this game without too much fuss. 8s in those 3. I don't want anything below a 3. That's gonna... Having a low strength's gonna hurt my hit points and it's gonna hurt my carry capacity, but we're gonna work around that as best we can. When we get power armor, that'll actually up our strength. So, but intelligence is critical in this first game because it determines how much skill points you get per level. Skills determine, how you interact in the world. Specifically, where a speech is hugely important. I'm going to go small guns, as having a low strength and having large weapons is not really going to work out well for me. Now, the third skill is always up for debate. I usually go barter. Sometimes I go sneak. That low outdoorsman is going to kill me with random encounters. But even if I bump it up, 31's not great. So let's just call that a wash. Let's go barter. Good prices, more equipment. It's going to do us a whole lot of favors. And down here we have optional traits. Usually when I play, when I first played through this game, I took both skilled and gifted. So I get more stats and more skills. But that basically means, well, granted, you do lose 10%. You get 5 less skill points per level with gifted, but it does increase your gives you 5 more character points to play with, basically. But that's not really the wisest because all these other skills, like say I click it, there, my outdoorsmanship is a 2. So basically, if there's anything crawling around in the wasteland, I will run into it. So I am going to go for skilled, so I get extra skill points, as perks in the first Fallout game are not terribly important if you're not going a real combat-heavy role, which I am not going to be. I'm going to be able to defend myself, certainly, and take out some raider scumbags, but I am not throwing down with the final boss. I tried that once, didn't work out well, and I didn't feel like running through the entire game again with a combat build just to take another poke at him. But, you don't have to take 2 traits, so I'm not going to. Oh, you definitely do not want to take fast shot. Targeted attacks with a high perception and better criticals is basically how you take down death claws and larger enemies at the end of the game. So we're just going to go skilled, and we're going to bump right into it. We're going to talk to Overseer Eyebrows. I don't want to waste too much of time at the character selection screen. Hey, buddy.
Ah, you're here. Good. We've got a problem.
Where else would I be? I can't really go outside.
The controller chip for our water purification system is giving up the ghost. Can't make another one, and the process is too complicated for a workaround system.
It's hard, and I don't want to.
Simply put, we're running out of drinking water.
Hey, Ted, whatever you do, don't open that door back there.
No vault. This is crucial to our survival. And frankly, I think you're the only hope we have. You need to go find us another controller chip. We estimate we have 4 to 5 months before the vault runs out of water.
Depends on how long our showers run.
Chip. We marked your map with the location of another vault. Not a bad place to start, I think. Look, just be safe. Okay?
Yeah, I'll get right on it. I'll be as safe can be. So we're going to be running into radioactive mutants, raiders, and God knows what else is crawling around outside this nuclear hellhole. Oh, that second bell, I'm going to be marked tardy. Now, I believe that is the Star Trek warning sign you can hear in the background kind of faintly, the ee. Fallout is known for its references to all kinds of pop culture. In fact, some of the random encounters you will in fact run into the Star Trek crew. Alright, so here we are. Just freshly out of the vault. And wouldn't you know it, already come across a carcass here. Bones. And, oh, so for you children out there who've never played a game from the 90s, specifically a adventure or role-playing game, is you have different mouse cursors that have you do different things. Anyone who's played any of the Sierra Quest games, King's Quest, Space Quest, will be familiar with that. But this is my interaction arrow, and you click and hold, and it'll bring up a list of things you can do. You can interact with it, you can eyeball it, you can use an item, or you can use a skill. That's what the Vault Boy down there smiling at me indicates. That's gear from your backpack. But let's take a peek at these bones. And down in the bottom left corner, you'll see the text of everything. You see Ed. Ed's dead. So this should instantly put into your brain that the idea that the Overseer said we were the only hope, but clearly he sent somebody out ahead of us. So he's not really on the level. I'll get into that more later. What you got for me, Ed? Got a knife and some armor-piercing bullets. Speaking of which, let's check out what they sent my happy ass out in the wasteland with. Got ourselves a pistol and a knife. I'm not really a melee character, so I'm not... Well, it's better to have it equipped than have to dig through your backpack in the middle of combat, so... Let's see... We've got... Yeah, jacket and health points. I was trying to recall what the JHP stands for. Alright. We also have some stim packs. These are our healing potions, so to speak. We have some flares, which I've used once. Basically, I use them to trade for a couple extra caps. And armor piercing. And this will actually help out with enemies, obviously, with have higher armor, but they do a little less damage. So it's kind of a trade-off. I usually end up giving one of my companions armor piercing to deal with later game enemies, assuming they are still alive. But we'll get into companions in a little bit. Anywho, we are in this cave that's just crawling with rats, and this is a good place for melee characters to kind of grind out some experience points, but for us it's kind of a way to waste a lot of bullets quickly before we actually get to real threats. So I'm going to try to get out of here with as little combat as possible. And I believe I have always run on. Okay, yes I do. So, this is our Skillodex. Obviously these are the skills you saw from the character creation screen. And in order to use them, you just click on them. So I'm going to try to sneak my way out of here. But the thing about sneaking is if you try to run and sneak, it won't work, obviously. Because you're booking around. So, sneak. And if you have always run on, like I do, you hold shift and then you click on where you want to go and your character will try to tippy-toe his way past the stinky rats. And my subterfuge did not last, so now we are in a scrap. These are my action points. This is determined by my agility. My sequence in this turn-based combat is based on my perception, so I try to have them both really high so I don't end up eating a lot of attacks if I don't have to. So we've got a 95% chance to plug him. Dead rat. Now, you see these enemies are here. I don't know if they've spotted me yet. I mean, obviously they would be able to hear me. If this game wasn't from, 1997, they would clearly hear the gunshot. But we're going to try to end combat and see if we can continue sneaking. Nope. Still have some aggro creatures. So we are going to end our turn, and all of our unused action points are going to go to our defense, our armor class. So we're going to end our turn here. Nobody wanted to attack, so I'm going to try to end combat again. Okay. Groovy. So we're going to try to sneak again. Because I don't want to waste all my bullets on rats. Or my hit points for that matter. Get out of here. Now, in later Fallout games, most everything will have like meat or something, but in these earlier games, not everything will drop something. So there's no rat meat to be had. Alright, so we have gotten past the majority of the rats. There's nothing else left on our way out, so we can go ahead and stop sneaking. Oh, making me a liar. What are you doing down here? Usually there's no rats past this point. You sneaky little shit. Here, have a bullet. Didn't have to end this way, buddy. You could have just let me walk. Alright. So, by right-clicking on your item here, we'll determine different actions, and you see the cost for AP when you're in combat to do. So I'm going to go ahead and reload that bad boy. And when it has this bullseye, that is for targeting different body parts. So you can shoot guys in the arm, leg, chest, head, and eyes, and different creatures with different anatomies. Obviously, you can shoot at them in the tail or whatever other parts they have. Alright, so a little bit of flavor text for us. To the west, you can see a natural light. For the first time in your life, you are looking at the outside world. Right. Out of my life of air conditioning and comfy seats into this desert burning hellscape. Alright, we see some more bones. Let's take a peek. You think these might be the horned kangaroo bones, but you cannot be sure. There are two other to make a final determination. Yeah, they don't really bring up horned kangaroos in any of the other Fallout games, which I would love to see as a nice throwback to the original. Alright, so, this is the exit grid. There's two colors. I guess you want to call this red. It's more of like a tan. But if it's red, that means you're going to be exiting out to the map. And if it's green, you're going to be moving to a different part in this isometric overworld. So we're going to exit out. And we are here at our Pip-Boy. This is before they were attached to the arm. They were just kind of like a computer you had in your backpack. We only have 2 locations so far, although there is nothing stopping us from exploring out into the wasteland, except for, you know, the creatures that live in said wasteland. So we are going to go along the obvious path, and you can see time passing, and this game will actually keep track of time, and if you do take too long, your vault will die if you don't come back with water for them, or the water chip. And we have something here, but that is not Vault 15 that is marked on our map. This is something else.